So we're going to move on real fast. Again, boom, 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 on down the agenda to the NFL. And so we are going to take a quick look at the ESPN offseason grades.
See what they got.
See what they got
Who's grading
going.
these? Who's this? Seth Walder?
Right. And
you are Seth Walder.
And we are going to, from there, react, to
Niners
each of our team's grades. Yeah. So I will let Oakland go first, since Oakland in the name of the alphabet.
Vegas.
Oh yeah, that's right. Las Vegas. Still before S. So
So Las Vegas Raiders got the big B.
I said Oakland.
It's always going to be the Oakland Raiders, baby, always.
Right.
Las Vegas Raiders got a B grade. Look, Mr. Walder, I don't really like what you got going on here. I'm not a big fan of this. Biggest moves I like, moves I dislike. Our biggest move, saying we got Geno Smith. Okay, I can maybe rock with that.
That's cool.
Moves I liked, Adam Butler, re-sign him. All right, come on. Was you just like, who's on the roster?
Right.
That guy.
Right. Who is Adam Butler?
Moves I disliked. Now, you want to talk about not liking Ashton Genty as a running back for our team?
Crazy.
Come on, man. Everybody was cool about it. Now we want to bring us down? Why? I don't understand. Just because he's a number 6 pick, we can get some productivity out of him that can really help our offense move. We got good guys on the outside. We got Brock Bowers down the middle. Maybe we just needed that one guy, and we couldn't go out in free agency and get somebody, even though we did also get Raheem Mostert. So he didn't even talk about that at all. We made some good moves. Seems like most of our good moves have been offensively, because crickets on the defensive side. I feel like we've only been losing people on the defensive side.
Right.
We just we got Max Crosby all 11.
Yeah.
That's him.
That's it. Yeah.
We just guarding everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I appreciate the B grade. That means you think we're doing something.
For sure.
Because easily
could have been. It's been.
Because if it was Cleveland Farrell, I'd be like, that's an F.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
So B grade, I think is solid. Some of the stuff you had to say about why you gave that grade, I don't really agree with. I think there's other things that could have played a better factor than re-signing Adam Butler.
What?
I don't know. But you could have put moves I dislike was losing Nate Hobbs for basically nothing. So
there you go.
What are we doing there, boys? What's going on in the front office? We just only think about offense.
Right.
When's the last time we outscored everybody? We need somebody on defense more than just Max Crosby.
Right.
So that's
especially in that division too.
Right.
Good
especially
Lord.
With all these quarterbacks. Justin Herbie, Pat Mahomes, you heard of him? Bo Nix.
Right. The slinging.
He's coming.
Slinging.
He's got a whole squaddy over there ready to go. They just picked up Evan Ingram too.
Yeah.
They're gonna be airing it out.
Yeah.
Especially against a team with no DBs.
Yeah, straight up.
And to lose to Nate Hobbs is just same old. And to the people that say, oh yeah, he was such a great DB, look at our past track record of the guys that we've had as our number 1 DBs, who we've been like, yeah, they that guy, Pro Bowler, big time. You see when they went to other teams, right? When they got paid, and people thought there was something going on. When you can just throw to the other play, that's how I feel like most of the DBs got credit was, oh, they don't even throw to that guy.
Right, he's a shutdown man.
He shuts everybody down.
Right.
It's because everybody else on the team is a practice league guy.
Right, getting picked on.
It was on E14. It was like, yeah. Let's see how fast you run down the block.
Right.
All right, cool.
Right.
So it really doesn't say much. I hope, I like Nate Hobbs, but that whole defense in the backfield, or the defensive back situation, I felt went real bad after that year with Jack Jones and the boys putting up lots of pick sixes and a lot of good interceptions. The following year didn't really match that. I know there's always trials and tribulations going on with the Raiders, but they didn't really step up this past season, in my opinion.
Right.
Facts. As a secondary. So they had a lot of expectation. Let's see if they can bounce back this year and make something happen. But B grade, that's cool, because there's plenty of years that we've been D- F.
Right. So. Right. 2 things that I'll say before I'll ask you to do your own biggest move I like, move I dislike. Which you did a little bit of, but you can just put a stamp on it. But what do you think about no mentioning of Pete Carroll? I mean, how?
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would be like, that's the biggest
going
move
on here.
Biggest move would be getting Pete Carroll, getting a winning kind of culture into the building.
Yeah,
somebody to respect up at the top, not just oh, we're gonna rally behind. No, this guy knows what he's doing.
Right. And then, everybody feels that way. Like
right,
everybody since the hiring has been like, all right, we're cool.
Yeah. And then moves I liked could have been the signing of Geno, and then moves you dislike, like I said, could have been a Nate Hobbs.
Yep.
Well, we just lost. So let's be more excited about our lottery pick. All right, let's not already be like, oh, running backs are not,
Well, who would you want? You know what I mean? That would be my big counter to him.
The only thing for that would maybe moves I disliked was the lack of movement inside the draft. Like I feel like there was plenty of times where we had draft capital or even players to have the ability to move up and get certain guys.
Yeah.
When we didn't, and I not to say I don't like a lot of the draft picks that we did make.
Right.
I just felt like there was plenty of chances for guys who were dropping that we could have snatched up. And we just also neglected to take them as well. So that's my 2 cents. I'm not Mr. Walder. I'm not on ESPN, but I think I like it a little better.
And what would your grade be?
I would say a B. A B is a solid. Okay. I think that is a solid grade for us because you can't build up expectations for the Raiders anymore. So to like see some solid moves, that's a new norm. Like that's not something that's normal when it's like, oh, yeah, that's pretty logical. That makes sense.
Right.
Like, okay, I see a direction that we're trying to go in. So to even be able to say, yeah, we have a solid B and feel confident in that is something to be said.
Facts. Very, very true. I would probably give them like just because of, in comparatively speaking, to me, it was like a B plus because it felt more foundational for them in terms of like that's actually something you can build on moving forward. And hopefully they will double back how they did this year on the offense for the defense.
Right.
Which does seem to be kind of a new thing teams are trying. Whereas like, if there are huge holes, it's like they try to gap these out so they can sign players in that kind of staggered way where they'll go D heavy 1 year, offensive heavy the next.
We did get Chip Kelly too. So
yes.
I just thought he was like, we need some boys.
I just thought all those signings for me were just like headed in the right direction. At the end of the day, the Raiders haven't had a good offense in a long time in terms of like, we all know what the defense has been. But in terms of like a really exciting offense, an offense that's not winning by like kind of luck where you feel like, okay, y'all got away with something today.
Right.
I think those are the steps you take. And when you look at who else is available at the 6, this draft wasn't the strongest. There's not a lot of quarterbacks available, right? So it's like, would you have wanted them to go Teataro McMillan? Like, do you need a one? I don't think that's as big of a need. Do you want them to go O-line? Well, I think they did a good job later in the draft picking up O-linemen that, to me, were of value. So I don't know. I mean, I would have loved to hear what he thought about, what instead of just saying it's a bad move, it's like, well, what was the move? Because I think with what was on the table and assuming you couldn't trade back and feel confident you'd still get Genty, I just think that's where you got to go.
And even just to your point of just like making smart moves, even somebody like Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, that's a great move.
That's a logical thing to do. Also, he's somebody that knows Pete Carroll very well. He seems to have gotten guys who are actual savvy veterans rather than just, oh, let's go get that guy. That like people who don't even fit the scheme.
Right, 100%. On to the Niners. They gave the Niners an A-. I'm okay with the grade. I'm actually pretty surprised that they gave us an A-. I feel like for the majority of the offseason, all I've been hearing is, how we've shit the bed and how we've let this offseason go from having a bad season to making it even worse. And I've been telling everybody for the longest time, if you haven't been watching the Niners for a long time or football long enough, then you probably just don't understand the way the books work. And when you get that close to the Super Bowl, that many times, there is always going to be a huge case of 2 things. 1, re-signing players at high prices in order to run it back. And 2, players being at inflated prices due to the fact that they're playing at the highest stage, in the game. So a lot of these guys, it's really more to me about, are they playing to their contract? We had very expensive players. Are they playing to their contract? And to me, all the guys that left, would I have wanted every last one of them to leave? No. And I've told y'all the one that hurt me the most was Dre Greenlaw. But he already got injured, which is insane. And I think he might be ready to come back, but he already got injured. And, everybody else, I just don't think they would have been worth the contract that we would have had to spend to them, and we needed to get younger. We were one of the older teams in the league. And with those 2 things looming, you have to do something like this. And I think the best way you can look at it is there's never a good time to do something like this unless you've just won 3 Super Bowls, right? But I think that they did it in the best way that they could, and they did it in a way that still keeps us very competitive. And I think they did it in a way that's very aware that our division is wide open and very young. And so it's like we need to get younger, but also we have enough stars, enough star power to still be right there at the forefront of that division. But like the biggest move for these people, whoever wrote this, was signing Brock Purdy to an extension. The move he liked was hiring Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator. And the move I disliked was none.
The only team out here was just like, get out of here, Seth Walder. You couldn't figure something. There was not one thing, even though every other team, Tutu Atwell. I don't like that. What? Who the fuck cares?
Even on like the Broncos, they're like not adding more at receiver.
Right.
Like he could have just said something. Because there's something that I can easily put there. So, but in terms of just the overall outlook of this, I'm like kind of on the other side of it with Mitch. Like I think we did a great job this offseason. Do I think it's an A-? I think that's got to be based on the situation we're in. So situationally, sure, I'll give him an A- if that's what we're talking about. However, if we're talking about like true moving pieces and free agency in that way, we didn't do anything. So I don't know how we could be, getting graded so highly for really just losing a bunch of players and shedding a bunch of money, which, at the end of the day, like I said, was necessary. But is that, high grade worthy? I don't know. I do think our team got a lot better, but Niner faithful, y'all better be careful in terms of relying on these youngsters. Rookies are dope. They're amazing to have. And these dudes are, I think, going to be great assets to the team. But we're putting a lot on a lot of youngsters. And we did that last year. And it just so happened to work. And so we're forgetting that a lot of those guys that we're now counting on are second-year players.
Yeah.
They just had a great rookie year, And so, man, just be careful, in terms of getting too high on this team. I think more of the hype should be based on our division. I'd go ahead and give us a B in the offseason. I think that for me, I do love the Saleh hiring. And off that alone, I'm going to give it a B. And I do like the fact that we re-signed Purdy. So I would put both of those where they're at. I think for me, you'd have to keep biggest move Brock Purdy just because he's your quarterback. But I would have Robert Saleh right there as that 1B. To me, he's that important. And to me, our style of football relies on good defense, gritty defense, hard hitters. And that's his MO. Moves that I disliked, like I said, I was super disappointed that we didn't make a run for Dre Greenlaw and that we let him walk like that. I get it. He wanted to be the Fred Warner of some defense. So that was his goal. But I was sad to see that. And then the other guy was Jalen Moore, who's a big left tackle who we've had on the team and practice squatted for like years, preparing him to like be a part of this. And then I forget where we just let him walk. I think the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs. And and they seem to always do that with our linemen. They're just like, yeah, we need that. And those are the two for me where it was sad to see. Javarius Ward knew that was coming. Aaron Banks, way overpaid. That's disgusting by Green Bay. Talanoa Hufanga, great when he's healthy. But, for me, it's more of a we can't pay you at an all-pro level. Yeah. You need to prove it. And so he had to go do that. Again, I also do not know why they didn't add Bryce Huff, the trade for Bryce Huff. I think that's got to be in there, just attached to Saleh, where it's getting Saleh and trading for Bryce Huff. I think those two in itself, along with our draft, make us a super, super dangerous pass rush team. And I'm very excited to see that with Saleh because he just likes to pin his ears back. He just likes to go flying for it. But the move that, like I said, if I would give a final grade, it'd be I could go B or B plus. But really, I'm gonna have to give it B just due to the lack of overall movement. Yeah, more loss than gain, to be real. On to the next. Waller somehow back in the league, traded to Miami. This is very quick, just more of a stop and go because he's a former Raider. Yeah, a guy who had a real comeback story with the Raiders.
And hasn't since.
So. Yeah, exactly. Got traded. So he went to
He went to the
Giants, and then didn't do. He just
he didn't do nothing. Was either hurt or didn't do anything.
And then just dipped. Gone. And
like,
what has he been gone for 2 years
Kelsey
now?
Plum,
has he been gone for 2 years now, or is it?
I think it's been like a year.
A year? 1 year? One season off? Okay, so not 2 years, but one season off.
Like, I feel like he's been hurt off and on, so he hasn't just been playing for maybe 2.
Right. So welcome back to the league, man. Good luck. Miami, of all places.
Lost Jonnu Smith and said, we'll go get this guy on the couch.
Well, they gave Jonnu they just threw Jonnu out the window. Seems like if you get a Pro Bowl over there, you're gone.
Yeah.
Unless your name is Tyreek or one of those guys, you're out the window. And even Tyreek, it seems like every offseason they're like, we good. We good. So that wraps up the NFL. Obviously, the NFL is a little bit dry right now. We'll have you guys all the way covered as we get into training camps, those kind of things, position battles, and as things progress for both of our respective teams.